Welcome, you maggots, to the if you think you can listen to a podcast about special forces, the world's toughest test, do you really think you can? You can. No,
You
I'm not going to be like,
buffoons.
I can't keep this up the whole time. Yes. Oh my God. I'm Rob Cesternino here with Jenny Autumn. Jenny, how are you?
Oh my goodness. I don't know if I've recovered from what I just witnessed last night.
Wow.
This is gonna be a session for us to figure out what we just went through.
What we went through. I hope
Yeah.
that this will not be for. Yeah. Okay.
I really hope it's not. I don't think I could take it.
Can't take it. All right. Special Forces World's Toughest Test, 2-hour premiere on Fox. And I put out a short podcast after I watched this because we were going to cover it tonight on the night after Special Forces World's Toughest Test has dropped. You and I have covered some wild reality shows in the last year. Joe Millionaire.
Literally in the wild.
Yes. Joe Millionaire, Claim to Fame, Beyond the Edge, and even The Real Love Boat. But nothing has prepared us or the people on the show for Special Forces, the world's toughest test.
Yeah, I mean, I watched a trailer. People suggested this. I was like, these are some bigger names than we saw on Beyond the Edge. No offense, Beyond the Edge. And I was like, okay, this is like the challenge with like some like slightly higher tier celebrities than we've had on some of the other shows. Like this could be really messy. This could be really fun. I mean, sometimes trailers are just made to look really intense, and it's like not like that. It was intense, and I will say, like, I found myself laughing at points where I don't think I was supposed to laugh. Like, it was such a wild experience. If you watched this live for the whole 2 hours, I just want to check in. Are you okay? Is everything all right?
Yeah.
Like, are you hydrated? Is your canteen full or empty? Like, these are the things I need to be checking on because I am still reeling from what I witnessed.
Right. This show, I will not say that this show is not fun. That's not the word I would describe, but this show is intense.
I don't think anyone's having fun.
This show is cracked. I can't believe this is a TV show.
I can't believe it's okay. Here's the thing, Rob, is like this is on primetime television on Fox. I mean, I know I said they don't give a fox, but like this is real. This is a thing. This is supposed to be entertainment? Question mark?
Yeah.
So I will try to keep that in mind as we go down this journey together. But there was points where I was like, how is this a television show? What am I watching? What is going on here? Truly just left with a lot of questions. Like you said on your preview podcast that you put out today. Like everything is a question. We are not sure. It's very confusing. I truly think that this podcast will be more of like a mystery. Like we're working through what the point of this is and why of it all. Because I don't get it.
I don't know what they told these celebrities to get them to agree to this, but almost none of them should be here. This was misrepresented to them in some way. This show was like a trick. They are being punked.
Yeah.
None of them.
We're bringing back Punked in 2023. I'm sure that Ashton Kutcher is coming out at some point.
At some point to let these people off the hook. But if you didn't watch the show and are just listening to the podcast, this is basically like a celebrity boot camp where people are really put to just, as the title says, the world's toughest test. This is like, I guess, the real stuff that people do to become these, special forces soldiers that go out into the desert and train. And you have to basically, they put you through these like incredible tests to see if you are able to become, one of these special forces people. And, seems like that these people are the toughest people in the world. But I don't know why any of these celebrities thought they could do this.
Well, especially because it's like there are some gaps here. Like I can understand to a certain degree why like retired athletes are like, you know, I don't get to physically test myself in my day-to-day life anymore. And I think
Mhm.
I'm really tough and I think I'm really physical and like what a fun experiment to test myself. But like if you're just like a reality star or like a celebrity chef or whatever, I don't understand what you're thinking doing something that is so, even though they tell you time and time again that like a lot of this is mental, which clearly it is, they're being literally
Mhm.
mentally abused.
Mhm.
But I just can't, so much of it is very, very physical. Like I just can't imagine thinking like this is a fun thing to do to test myself. Like also the theme of a lot of this is like a lot of these people have like demons and skeletons in the closet and like they're trying to like, you know, work on things. And it's just like this is what you chose for yourself. Like could I suggest therapy? Maybe volunteering at a shelter, or like there are so many things that I could suggest that could help you grow and like work on yourself as a
Mhm.
person and find some meaning in your life besides going into the
Becoming
desert
a
and
special forces
like
operative.
like it's like, oh well, you know, if this reality TV career doesn't work out, at least I know I can hack it as a special force agent or whatever.
Mhm.
Like I don't understand what compels any of these people. I truly think that they had to have been hoodwinked. Like
Yeah.
who came into this thinking it was going to be like this? They had to have thought that it was like the challenge a little bit more, where it's like, okay, there's these like really physical like
It'll be
explosions and you're, yeah.
fun.
But then like you
You'll
go
get
to
so
like the
famous.
bunker and then you go and party or something. Like they're no, they're
Mhm.
in a tent. Like they're
Yeah.
pooping in like little shacks
Buckets.
beside each
Yeah.
other, like literal outhouses with no like covering. Like it's wild.
It is wild that I think this is a show for people who like watching celebrities get abused. I've been like referring to this show because I watch Tough as Nails. Tough as Nails and this show, they both are on at the same time on Wednesday nights. I think ultimately Special Forces is going to be on an hour earlier than Tough as Nails on a regular week, but they're both shows about being tough. But
Right.
Tough as Nails is a show that like takes like the like most humble, like uh, unsung people and celebrates them and like what they do for society.
Yeah.
And this show takes like the most like well-known, celebrated people and just like completely humbles and humiliates them for our enjoyment.
Well, and here's the thing, and this is what I wanted to ask you about because, like, I am more familiar with some of these than others. Like, there are some of these people I've literally never heard of.
Sure.
Shocker. But like, are they the most celebrated? Like, I feel
Not the
like a lot of
most celebrated,
I
but
feel like a lot of these people, and this is what I'm wondering, is like, did they get people that aren't necessarily like widely beloved? And so there's a little something
yes.
for the people. Now there's two parts of this. It's like watching them in this position, you are going to feel bad for them and you like they're going to become like a sympathetic figure, or is it like, well, you don't like these celebrities anyway, so you're going to get some sort of enjoyment out of watching people call them buffoons and telling them they're failures for like an
Yes.
hour straight.
Yes, I think that that is a big part of the show, that you are getting enjoyment out of the suffering of some of these people who are, you know, famous for being famous. So that I do think that that is who this is appealing to, this program. And I think that it's very interesting. This is a show that does not like pull any punches. We watched all of Beyond the Edge, which you would think that, okay, similar idea. Beyond the Edge, 10 celebrities in the Panamanian jungle pushing themselves and testing themselves. But every Beyond the Edge episode is like, all right, Jenny, are you thinking about leaving? Would you? And that, you know, if somebody does leave, it's like, oh, like let's have a whole like honor them, their
Yeah.
contributions. This show, you're out. Goodbye. You don't even say
Yeah.
goodbye to anybody. They just walk like, all right, you're gone. You're gone. I never get out of my face.
It was so unceremonious. All of the we lost 4 people in this 2-hour premiere, and
Girl, bye.
I felt like they yada all of them. Like, see you never. In the first 5 or 10 minutes of the episode, they basically say they're talking about you VW voluntarily withdraw, and then they also say if you die, that's nature's way of saying you failed.
Yes,
they don't care.
Yes, I mean, this really made me reevaluate my whole outlook on death. That when
if you should die, that's nature's way of saying you've failed.
Is it
that's so everyone who has died has failed in life, or does he mean specifically if you are so weak that you die during this specific test, nature is telling you are a failure because nature has decided that all of these people should be able to withstand.
It was unclear.
I don't know.
If you die at a different point, did you fail? I don't know. If you die during the test, I guess that is nature's way of saying that you failed.
Which I don't know that I agree with. If someone gets heat exhaustion or is dehydrated or has a freak
That's their
accident,
fault. They didn't have the water bottle filled.
Right. But is it always like that? It is always can you reduce every single situation where someone could die in this environment to they did something wrong? It was still their fault somehow and they failed. That's just such a wild concept to me.
I don't know, that's what this is. Okay, it's the world's toughest test.
Yeah, it's
WTT.
Tough. Yeah. These people are intense. We don't have Morrow gathering us around the fire and talking about, how we feel and who we're doing this for.
The show
the charity.
does not care how you feel.
There is no charity here, Rob.
Okay. Jenny, great. Well, let's just do a little quick Q&A with me and you and see if we can figure out some things. Okay. First question that I have for you, Jenny. Okay. Is there a winner of Special Forces World's Toughest Test?
Okay, so this is a complicated question because what do you mean by winner? I think that they consider anyone who makes it the 10 days that apparently this lasts is a winner because they did not quit or they did not fail or die, which is also a fail. But I did realize my first watch of this, that's right, I am so dedicated that I watched
Best in the business.
Twice.
World's toughest podcaster.
Yes, this was my world's toughest test. Was doing this to myself twice. I did not notice this in the first watch, and I was very confused. And I believe you were also confused when you, judging by what you had in your preview. There is no prize, apparently. I learned this in the second watch. They say it right from the top. No prizes, no special treatment. So to me, that is the win. If there is are winners, if there is a winner, they don't receive anything. With that said, I believe they're clearly getting paid for this. But they're probably getting paid a stipend per episode that they make it through or per day that they last. I don't know if it's going to be an episode per day, but
that was going to be my next question of are they raising money for charity in some way, shape, or form?
Absolutely not. Because Rob, why would we not hear about it? They would be chomping at the bit to tell us that they are raising money for charity.
Because
it was not mentioned once.
Yeah. Because there are some folks here who I think are in probably not so great financial straits. And then there's other people like, Dwight Howard and Mike Piazza who made millions and millions and millions of dollars in their athletic careers. I don't understand how they got some of these people to come here and do this.
Imagine signing up to do this and getting there and going through this and then seeing Beyond the Edge or like Celebrity Big Brother and like being like, God, my agent sucks ass. Like, how did I end up doing this garbage? Like I just got abused for 10 days straight. I could have been hanging out in a house, you know. I mean, maybe there's arguments that that's more torturous. I don't know.
Sometimes, yeah. Depends who's there.
Yeah, it's true. But I don't know. Like, do you think that this is dark? Do you think that this would
You're
be
in the right
better
place.
if the celebrities that had to do this were like ones that like went bankrupt or something? like they
need the money.
They need it. You know what I mean? Like, because I just feel like, okay, with Beyond the Edge, the charity component, it was like, oh, you don't want to be the guy that gave up on the your charity. Like you're trying to win every dollar you can for that charity. You better not quit. Whereas like I just need to know that like there's enough of a reason for these people to be doing this, and because there's no monetary like, you know, value that has been explained to us besides us being like, okay, it's reality television, they're clearly getting paid for their appearance. I just, if they were like celebrities that lost all of their money and like they needed to be here to like make it back, I don't know, is that more compelling?
I think this is a pretty good point, because there's a lot of times where they're being yelled at about like, you have to want it, you have to want to be like, but you know, I can understand why like a real person is like, hey, this is my calling. I want to be, you know, special ops, and I want to like fight for my country, and like I have this inside me. But these people aren't really going to be in the special forces after this. So I don't understand what do they want them to really want? Do I really want to see if they can get through the training?
I mean, this is all packaged as like, I just want to like prove that like I can do something, or like I can do it for me. And I'm like, again, adopt a dog.
Yeah, Mike Piazza, well, you have nothing left to prove.
Yeah, you're Danny Amendola, like you are a Super Bowl champion, and he's calling this a dream come true. Sir, are you okay? Like, can somebody check on this man? Like, what are you doing? Why are you here?
There are some people that like Mike Piazza mentioned, you know, that they come from a military background, and so maybe that there's like some sort of like a feeling like, oh, I didn't go into the military, I went into athletics, and I want to be able to prove to people that I could do something like this. So for a couple of people, yeah, I guess they have that, but most of the other people, I have no idea why they're here or what they thought they were getting into. But Jenny, any standouts here for you from this cast?
Okay.
In terms of people you're excited to see?
So we've you know, discussed this at great lengths in the other podcasts we've done together, but for the uninitiated, I don't know a lot of celebrities. For someone that covers like reality television and you know, the like, but I did recognize quite a few of these names, but I don't know a lot of their history. I don't know a lot of their public opinion. Like I have like a, you know, some insight on a few people. I'm like, oh, I don't know that they're really beloved. Obviously I grew up in the height of the Spice Girls. Like I was buying the Spice Girls lollipops, and like I was full on Spice Girl person. So obviously seeing Mel B, I really enjoy her, and I am also like, what are you doing? Like you have been on what is she on, like the X Factor? She's like a judge on the X Factor or something like that.
Yeah.
She's fine. I have to assume she is fine. She's getting child support from Eddie Murphy. At least I read that. Why are you doing this? You definitely have money. But I'm really enjoying her. I think that a standout on the show itself, obviously, like Jamie Lynn Spears was a big character, I think, on this, this premiere.
Right.
I definitely thought we were going to lose her. I felt like we were getting a lot of her story, and she was going to leave. She's still there. And I think Dwight Howard is pretty fun.
Mhm.
Again, if any of these people are problematic, I am not aware of it. So please do
Mhm.
not at me. I will say what shocked me. Actually, there are two things that shocked me here. The first is uh Anthony Scaramucci is on this cast.
Right.
Um he was not four people left in
Mhm.
this first episode, and he was not one of those four
Amazing.
people.
Yeah.
And I feel like he was kind of a purple mooch. Do you
Yes.
agree?
Yes, he was a purple mooch, that he basically, he does end the episode as they line up from who's the best to the worst. He is putting himself in the position of,
Yeah.
yeah, I am the
Some
weakest,
self-awareness.
worst person out there.
I
He
think it was
says
weakest to strongest, not
yes.
best to worst,
Well,
but
best word. Same thing. Same thing. He
these
says
people are rubbing off on you. They're like, "You're the
he's the
worst."
worst. He says this about himself.
I was the White House communications director for 11 days before I got fired. You know, I can take a lot of heat, no problem.
Is that the flex that he thinks it is? That I was the White House communications director for 11 days.
Well, Rob, this world's toughest test is only 10 days.
Only 10 days. So not even a full Scaramucci.
I mean, he did that for 11 days. Maybe he can do this for 10.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, is he bragging? Like, hey, I could do it for, I was a White House communications director 11 days. I know what it's like to take heat.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Like
He's
the
like, what do you
hottest
want
11
from
days.
me? I'm Italian. I like pasta.
What are you going to do about it?
What are you going to do? Yeah.
Yeah, we got like his little intro package, but then he was really quiet for like the rest of the episode, which shocked me because I was like,
I think
there
he
is
was sucking
absolutely
wind.
I just thought there was no way that this man was
The
making it
mooch.
through this 2-hour premiere
Yeah.
because they were teasing that we were going to lose multiple people in the first
in the
night.
commercial. I was watching
And then they
football. They're
told
like,
us four.
people will go home. It's the world's toughest test.
And you're telling me that the mooch was not one of those four people?
No.
Like that is the biggest blindside of the night.
Biggest
Truly.
blindside of the night for sure.
So
Jenny, let's talk a little bit about what happened here. Let's just talk through what we got to see. We got people like on the train. I think Special Forces World's Toughest Test starts like any ride you're on at Disneyland, where it's like, oh, we're just going on a lovely train ride today, and then all of a sudden it's like, wait, are those helicopters? And then explosions. Like, this isn't supposed to happen. And they take these celebrities and they basically like kidnap them.
yeah, this was jarring because the starting was similar to how a lot of reality shows start. Like you had like the shots of them like in the train and then like paired with like the packages of them like, doing like their interviews or like their confessionals talking about like why they're there, whatever, who they are. And I was like, this is just like the montage we get of the survivors, being marooned on the boat, like, like these 16 strangers, like it was very much like that. But then all of a sudden there's explosions, the train stops and they're pulled, like they're screamed at, like these guys run onto the train and they're like, get down. I'm like, oh my God, is someone gonna die? My anxiety spiked. I was not there, but I felt terrified. And then they pull them off the train and they're like shoving them against the train and putting like black bags on their head. What is this?
I don't know why they needed to put black bags over the heads of the celebrities so much.
Yeah, that feels cruel. Like it's hot. They're in the Jordanian desert.
Yeah.
And I don't understand. They see things. Why do they have to keep putting these black bags over their head at certain points?
I don't
know.
know.
Lead them into things.
Is it like, are they taking them to the Bat Cave? Are they taking them someplace where they can't see where they're going? Like, I understand, like maybe like if the bad guys got you, that they would do this, but I don't understand why we do this to our own special forces.
Yeah, I don't know if this is part of the normal training. And this is
I
the
think it's
other thing.
hazing.
Yeah, it is definitely hazing. And I do think that these 4 special forces guys are getting some sort of sick pleasure out of it. They too also probably need therapy. But like I have to think that, you know, I there's no sense in the black bag over the head because like when they do it outside of like the interrogation room, they like put it on like directly before they go in. So the bag
Mhm.
over on only on their head for like the
Yeah.
2 seconds that they're like taken into the room and then it's pulled off of their head. So there's no like rational sense. It's not like they're in the, Big Brother house and like they can't see backstage while they're being like taken to a different part or something like that. Like they literally go like 10 feet from what I can
Yeah.
tell and they put a black bag on their head for this. So I think it's just to like traumatize them.
It's everything on the show is just like, we're just messing with them.
You need to see if you're mentally tough enough.
Mhm.
You maggot.
Yeah.
Like it's wild.
Well, I think watching these people get messed with, I'm pretty sure this is the point of the show. I think this is what we're supposed to be enjoying.
Yes. I
So
think that we are
I'm here for the ride.
I mean, yeah, I honestly like I wished that I felt more for some of these people because I would be like maybe a little bit more invested,
I don't
like
think they want you
negatively or
to.
positively. That's what I don't understand. It's like, do they want me to feel bad for them or do they want me to take pleasure in their pain? I don't know what psychological journey
Yeah.
they want to take me on, but it's something.
So I think that this show is about like, I think there are going to be some people that we are going to be with the whole way through. And I think that these are the people that are going to get the good edit, but the people that are going to give up on this thing, I think they get buried. I think
Well,
that all of the people that left got like pretty bad edits.
yes, I agree. Especially Tyler Florence. I know
Mhm.
nothing, like I knew his name. I did not know much about him, but I did not feel like the edit was kind to him. So I don't know if that's just
He's a
true to
quitter.
who he is, but not kind. But there were people that like were so like I said the mooch was purple, but like there were 2 people that I still don't remember their names. I think there was
Yeah.
an athlete named Carly. She was shown like
Mhm.
very early on and then like never again. Like I
Yeah, there's a
truly
couple of
forgot she
like
was there.
Olympic people that are in the show. Like,
But you think that like those people are probably going to do well, but maybe they just don't have like a good story. So that's why
mhm.
they're like invisible, but like you're going to get the people like we have a lot of like underdog stories like starting to build already with Jamie Lynn Spears and Beverly Mitchell.
Mhm.
Who like if you said that name to me, I wouldn't have known. I did not watch Seventh Heaven. I like saw maybe
Oh.
like an episode or 2.
Mhm.
I did recognize her once I saw her. But so like we're getting like these underdog, like believe in yourself, kind of storylines building with those kinds of people. So I think that maybe those people are I don't know, is there special forces educ? Like what do you
We
think is
yeah.
going here?
I think the people that are going to be there for like our main characters, I think that those are the people that are getting like the positive edits, and I think that the people who are sort of like getting buried or are purple are the people that aren't going to make it. But let's start to talk through a little bit of what was going on. So they just start yelling at them and make them like run around the desert. And Kate Gosselin, like from the jump,
Ugh,
is having a hard
poor
time.
woman.
I couldn't understand why she was like holding her ears. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that was from the explosions.
Maybe because they were running, like they're just running, and then she's at the back, she's bringing up the rear, and then she's like crouching down, covering her ears, and I was like, yeah, I'm wondering if there was some sort of noise, or maybe she was just like, stop yelling at me. I don't
She
know.
cried the entire time that she was
She
on the 12 minutes she was on the show. She cried the entire time.
inconsolable. It was really rough to see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she was really struggling.
Okay. That we're gonna get some introductions into the staff. Please call them staff. Did anybody from the staff really stand out to you?
Yes. Well, the first thing that stood out to me, well, these men are all terrifying in their own way. They're all very they yell a lot. They're very intense. There's a man named Foxy.
Yep.
I think because his name is Jason Fox.
Jason
but,
Fox,
like,
British
they say his
commando.
name
Yep.
is Jason Fox, but like for the rest of the show, he's Foxy. But the one that got me is there was a man on this show named Bill Billingham.
Yep.
That's a fake name.
No,
there's no way.
That is the baddest.
No, this is when you are in a trench coat with a fake mustache, and then someone asks you who you are, and you're like, I'm Bill Billington. Like, this is not a real person.
Maybe he can't use his real name. Maybe he's been in so many operations.
Maybe he is in witness protection. I don't know, because I don't believe this man's name is Bill Billington. Or Billingham, sorry. Either way, what is that name? Yeah.
In addition, there's Rudy. He's the chief instructor, and Remy, former Navy SEAL. I think that Remy tells everybody, hey, you celebrities, listen to this.
This isn't TikTok or Instagram where you get to put on a filter to cover up what you don't like.
Yeah.
I love this. Like, this is when I really started
Hashtag no filter.
Yes. This was beautiful. Because I don't think that Remy knows how much any of these people use social media. It's not like they brought like a bunch of 25 influencers on the show. Like all of these people are like in their like 30s, 40s, and 50s.
Yeah, do you think
like,
Mike Piazza is doing a lot of TikTok?
Yeah, like Mike Piazza is definitely posting like the filter that gives you like really thick eyelashes and like a nice pout. Like, you can't hide behind the filters. It's like, who are you talking to? Is this like specifically just for Hannah Brown?
Montel Jordan, a big TikToker.
Yeah, like what? This isn't TikTok. It's like, I wouldn't think it would be TikTok. This would be a really weird TikTok. This is a long ass episode.
So, all right, they just start yelling at them, like they're doing stuff for no reason. They're like, just get in the water tank, get in there. And like, I feel like I would not be cut out for this, Jenny, because I'd be like, but why? What are we doing?
Yes.
Why would we get in there?
You would be channeling your like inner like 6 or 7-year-old that just like needs to know the reason for everything.
Why? What are we doing? Yeah.
Like, why? Why do I have to cover myself in sand?
And now go on the other side of that.
Yeah, like
no, roll in the
this
sand.
Is how you prove yourself.
Roll in the sand. Run. Bury yourself. Like, wait,
and
why?
like they, at multiple occasions, they're told to run, but like not like run to that post. Like they're just like, just run around. It's like, what?
Run around.
Like, just get that energy out of you. It's like, what is the point of this?
Just do it.
No, it truly, I was broken at the moment where, okay, so they jump into the water. There's like a tank of water. They jump into it. They're like, jump in the water. They're like, okay.
They waste a lot of water for people that are not, that are really big on like, don't waste water.
Yeah, like be conservative with the water, but jump in this tank of water. But then they're told to lay down and then just like rub sand all over themselves.
Right. Why? I didn't understand.
I don't like, I truly, they just wanted them to be dirty.
I think sometimes you just, if you're in the army, you just get orders and you're not supposed to like, wait, why are we doing that? Like just do it.
Yeah. So like they're testing to see like if you're, you know, contrarian or like you're trying to like push your like boundaries, where it's like, we want people that is like are not going to question and just be like, you have to put the trust in like these people that are guiding you. And so if they tell you to rub sand on yourself, you better believe there's a good reason to rub sand on yourself. And it's like, okay,
yeah,
I guess like I'm not gonna question this, but like this seems pretty stupid.
But they go right from that to like they go to now strip. Everybody strip. I'm like, oh my God.
Get all of your like your little workout outfits and whatever you came in, get it wet. Rub sand all over it and your face, in your hair. Now take your clothes off. I'm like, I need a moment here. Like, we just went from explosions, being dragged off a train, a bag over your head, run around, jump in the water, rub sand on yourself. Now take your clothes off. Like, what?
Okay. Gonna buy me
Like,
dinner
sure, I
first,
guess.
Rudy? Yeah. Okay. So they follow these orders. Kate Gosselin really is not doing well. She feels like the water tastes a little chlorinated.
I mean, we don't know where this water came from. There was like a weird tank of water.
There were just
Yeah.
16 celebrities in the water.
Oh, do you think that like chlorine came off of their bodies?
I
Like
don't
they just
know.
came from the hotel. Maybe some of them went to like the hotel pool.
Yeah. All right, but nothing's going well for Kate Gosselin. And so we
No.
get to the first challenge, kind of like a trust fall out the back of a helicopter into the water.
Yeah, but it's not just the test of can you do it? It is very specific that they want you to fall a certain way into the water. Like there is form is important in this particular mission. And it's not just about, fighting your fears and doing the thing. That's not enough. You have to do it a proper way or you are a failure.
Yes. And if you don't do it, yes, you hear that you have been
Fail!
Like imagine having like an intense visceral fear of heights and water combined,
Mhm.
and you are just trying to get through it. Like Rob, we just watched on the Real Love Boat people do like skydiving or like they bungee jumping off of a cliff or whatever. And it's like it was a very supportive thing. It was like just doing it and supporting each other and facing your fears, like that was like a wonderful thing. Like
Ezra ain't here, baby.
yes. But these people are like not only having to just deal with these intense fears in like such a stressful environment, then if they don't do it to the satisfaction of these people, they are completely like insulted and like obliterated with
Mhm.
like name calling and
Yeah.
told that they failed.
Which is fun. I mean, that's like what it takes to be special forces. I just don't know why a lot of these people thought they could do this.
Yes, and I think that I mean, I have to imagine a lot of these people just did not realize it was going to be like this.
No.
Like, definitely some agents got phone calls after this.
Mhm, mhm.
And we're like,
Yeah.
"Why didn't you vet this more properly?" Like
Okay. Well, Kate Gosselin goes up there and she's terrified and she does it. And unfortunately for Kate,
Fail!
she hits the water at a very awkward angle.
it's like her back.
Is crying and has to be visited by the medics.
And I don't think Kate stopped crying the whole episode.
No.
Like she was like, and truly like that could have dehydrated her. Like if she didn't get evacuated for whatever happened to her back, like she might have been a dehydration evacuation because of all of the tears that left her
Mhm.
body, all of the moisture that left her body, because it was constant tears. It was really difficult to watch. I was like, this woman is suffering, and like she's crying and being like, I'm so scared, but I want to do it. And they're like, then do it. It's like, oh my God, this is not a supportive environment. Like, there's nothing feel good about this. This isn't like, believe in yourself. You can do it. Like, think about how great you're going to feel when it's over. No, it is like, well, then just go and do it. Like,
Mhm.
no wonder this woman is crying. Then she finally does it and lands terribly, hurts herself, and they're still shouting at her, calling her a failure.
Yeah. Jenny, these celebrities that have participated on the show, then they do like a lot of like press after. And one of the nice things about recording the day after is that a lot of these press stories came out today of interviews with different celebrity people. So Kate Gosselin did some interviews today. She was interviewed by People, and she said that she is so pissed. She's so angry. I was out and it was done before it even started. She talks about the injuries that she suffered, but I don't really get the sense of, is she angry that she was on the show, or she's angry they pulled her off the show?
Yeah, I don't like that. That is confusing. Again, we're constantly left with questions with
Mhm.
everything to do with this show. Because she was also crying, being like, I really want to do it. Like, don't make me go. And I, at this
Mhm.
point, I was like, these are crocodile tears. She's
Yeah,
like,
please.
she needs, for herself, she needs to show that she put up a fight and did not want to get medically evacuated. But like, for her, you got to think this is a best case scenario.
Best case
It's like,
scenario.
she doesn't have to quit. She gets pulled because she got injured. So, but she needed to show that she like did not want to go. That was my like thought, and maybe I'm being too cruel to Kate Gosselin, but
Mhm.
uh like I think that if you don't want to be here and you know you're not cut out for it deep down, that is a best case scenario. Obviously not hurting yourself, like that's
Right.
not fun. But you got to think that like okay, in Survivor, like you get medically evacuated, and that's the reason you don't win the game. Depending on what part of the season, is that like you can at least be like, well, I didn't make a wrong decision. I didn't do something
Mhm.
wrong. I wasn't an idiot. I didn't quit. I was forced by something out of my control to leave the game. Like, I have to think that for some people, like, that is something that makes them feel better. So, this is kind of like my interpretation with this for Kate, because she's like, she didn't want to be in a situation where she had to quit.
Yeah, for Kate Gosselin, she was like, my like this hurts so much. Like, but I don't want to leave out of the game.
But
But let me
also,
get me out of here. Get me out of here. Oh, my neck hurts so much. I can't. I want to stay.
no,
But
don't
yeah,
make me go.
she said to people, my neck still bothers me sometimes. It is muscle. I do tend to carry stress in my neck and shoulders. So I think that was probably a factor, hitting smack dab in the water. It took me so long to get over that. I still don't think I am, because I really wanted to challenge myself. So for Kate, she wishes she was still out there.
Here's the thing. I think that Kate could take on other things to challenge herself
And she does have
that
8
don't
kids.
involve her injuring herself, or put it like, that's the thing, is like, I will hurt my neck just like getting out of bed sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so I don't judge her for injuring her neck when she jumped out of a helicopter backwards into the water. She's what, like 47 or something like that? Like,
Still pretty young.
that is still young, but I'm saying that's like 10 years older than me, and
Mhm.
I injure myself doing regular day-to-day things, is what I'm saying, Rob.
Yeah.
So I think that I would probably paralyze myself if I jumped backwards out of a helicopter into the water.
No
So
doubt. But
I'm not judging Kate. I'm just thinking, what did you expect? Like,
okay. She
do
is
something
number
else.
She's number 11, Jenny. I real misfire to not make her number 8. But they refer to the celebrities often as their number,
Yes.
to try to make it as dehumanizing as possible.
Yes.
Do you like when they refer to them as numbers?
I don't, because it's taking me longer to remember who's on the show, because not only am I having to remember their names, I'm now constantly hearing them referred to as numbers. So it's like an extra
Yeah.
layer of trying to figure out who they're talking
It
about.
would help if they were wearing like a jersey, but
Yeah,
I guess
'cause
they
they
have
have
all.
They have like an armband that has the number on it, but like I agree, like a penny with like the full number, like very obvious, that would be more helpful. Um I think I've learned a couple people's numbers. So I
Mhm.
believe Beverly Mitchell's number 1. I think Jamie Lynn Spears is number 2. I know Dwight Howard is number 13, because that's one of my favorite numbers.
Mhm.
And I want to say someone I like is number 9. I can't remember. I think it's
Mhm.
someone I like. Oh God,
Okay.
I'm gonna find out it's not
We'll
someone I
circle
like.
back to it. Okay.
But yeah, they're
Um,
numbers as well.
we start to spend a lot of focus on Jamie Lynn Spears. Jamie Lynn
Yeah.
Spears, that there was an issue with her getting into the water. That's going to be explored more. Apparently, there was an issue where Jamie Lynn Spears' daughter was almost drowned.
Yeah, I don't know this story, but and
Is
the
this
way
like
that
a
it was,
famous story?
I don't know. Again, I'm the wrong person to ask. Maybe this is very well known. I didn't personally know this story, but I also don't know a lot of things. But the way that she told the story was very fragmented, and threw a lot of tears at certain points. So I was like confused still about what exactly happened. It sounded like there was an accident. I don't know if it was
Yeah.
like she was on a four-wheeler and like
Yeah, an
it went into this
ATV.
pond or something. Like I don't know what the accident was, but then she fell into a pond and
Mhm.
she was the other thing was that Jamie Lynn said she drowned, which to me was like, okay, she did not survive. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like there was a few times the way that she told the story was like, okay, and then she died, and then she's like, well, but she lived. It's like, okay, well, that was, the
Mhm.
way that you told that story was very confusing. Like I thought that this ended very horribly. But I guess she was drowning, and Jamie Lynn tried to jump in to save her, but I guess couldn't. And then paramedics came in and got her out or something.
Mhm.
Again, the details are hazy.
Yeah. Okay. So more on that story to come. So the judges do much like on the Real Love Boat, Jenny. The judges, am I wrong to call them judges? What do you call them? The special forces?
They're staff, Rob.
Staff. That's my right. So
And can I say the
yes.
first time around, I did not catch that they said, you will address us as staff. So, like, the first half of the episode, I thought they were saying, yes, dad. When they were
Dad.
like, yes, dad. Like, I was like, are they calling them dad? Like, are they making these, call these men
Mhm.
dad? Anyway, so they're referred to as staff.
Staff gets together and they have like a big board of people. Really, kind of like on Joe Millionaire. They have a
Yeah.
big board of all the people, and they're like, this one, Jamie Lynn Spears. What's her problem? Get her in here for tactical questioning. So they go and they have like the guards go and throw like a black bag over her head
Yep.
and bring her in for some direct questioning.
It is,
You'll be interrogated now. What's your
yes.
problem?
Yeah, so, like, they get together and they have these, like, Polaroids on the wall, and they just basically, like, shit talk these people, and they're like, "What's this person's problem?" And, like, "Let's talk to them."
Get her in
And
here.
yeah, and, like, they, like I felt so bad for this poor woman. Like, they're already so battered, and, like, they drag her into this room with the black bag over her head and then, like, rip it off of her head, and her, like, hair is, like, flying. Like, it's just in
I
complete
love it. I
disarray.
love it.
It's there is nothing glamorous about
No.
this show. I will say that Kenya Moore managed to look incredible. Like, her lashes were, like, perfectly
Mhm.
intact despite, like, being in water and sand and all of that. But, like, for the most part, everyone looks like crap and is,
Mhm.
like, really there's no glamour here. There's no TikTok, there's no filters.
No this isn't TikTok. This isn't Instagram. Okay?
This isn't TikTok or Instagram where you get to put on a filter to cover up what you don't like.
The only cover up
true.
that you put on around here is a black bag. Over your head.
We put it on you. It's on our terms. Like, oh my
Mhm.
god.
Okay, and so she tells the whole story, and so that I think she kind of turns staff around.
Yeah, staff
After that,
understands
they
now,
get
I
it. They
think.
get
They
it.
get
Okay.
the damage.
Um, Jenny, we get to see some insight into just sort of like the day-to-day activities of what goes on. We got to see two of our recruits going number two together. I don't know if either of them are number two.
Well, that's Jamie
Dwight,
Lynn's number 2.
yes, she's number two.
She's number 2.
But Dwight Howard and Mel B are number two also.
Yeah. It was so Mel B is already there's like I think like 4 stalls, and they're not like full outhouses where like
Yeah.
it's an enclosed box
Yeah.
like with a roof. It's literally like if there were like public bathroom stalls but like made of
Yeah.
wood. and
Jenny,
they don't go up very high. And Dwight
no.
Howard is very tall.
He's very, very tall. Was that a
Yeah.
party foul on Dwight Howard that if Mel B is in stall number 4, was it a party foul on Dwight Howard to go into stall number 3,
So I
being that
had
he's
this,
like 4 feet taller than the top of the stall?
I had this thought as well because I was like, okay, like you can literally see into her stall probably because of the height. But when I looked, I think that there was also someone else in like the stall 2 away. So like so say it's like 1,
Got
2,
it.
3, 4, and so from left to right, Mel B is in stall 2. And then there was
Yeah.
already somebody else in stall 4. So no matter what, Dwight Howard, I think, had to pick a stall
Yeah.
directly next to Mel B.
What
So
are they
like, what's he
feeding
gonna
these
do?
people that 3 people need to use go number 2 at the same time?
When nature calls, or maybe
Nature
they only have like 10 minutes where they can, take care. Like I don't know. It
It's
seemed
like
like
go
it was a
now,
whole
or this is
day.
the whole window.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like this was like a long ass day of torture. Like they maybe only had 15 minutes to do their business.
Okay. One of the celebrities that did not get a glow up here is Dr. Drew Pinsky.
Oh, yeah. He, his little package was like, I'm fighting father time, but also I'm not afraid of aging. I was like, well, what is it? Like, I don't understand what his purpose here was, but pretty much immediately, like after the first test, he is complaining that he's not feeling well. He's pretty much, there's not much coming out of him, and I'm not talking about his bowel movements. I
Yeah.
don't know what happened, but
Can I
he's
tell ya-
just like, he's quiet. He looks withdrawn.
Yeah, I'm out on Dr. Drew because that, Dr. Drew once upon a time, like, gave me comfort back in February of 2020 because Dr. Drew was out there like, listen, everybody needs to relax with this COVID. It's not going to be a thing. It's not going to be a thing. Don't worry. Everybody don't worry. I was like, well, I mean, Dr. Drew, he's a doctor. He's a doctor. I guess. I mean,
might not be an epidemiologist, but
I'm pretty worried about this. But Dr. Drew says, "Don't worry about it." And so, ever since then, I've been out on Dr. Drew.
Yeah, I mean, he's a doctor. He couldn't even take care of himself.
That I never forget that when somebody's like, "Hey, I'm the expert. Listen to me."
Yeah,
it's like, okay, because I don't know anything. Yeah, I try to, even like the Survivor stuff. Like I try to say, like, look, like I don't know. Here's my best guess, but like I never guarantee anything. He's like,
oh yeah, I never want to be an expert on anything. That's terrifying.
That's why I hate all these fantasy football experts.
Yeah.
All right.
Mean, that's the worst thing to be an expert on.
Yeah.
Like imagine that's your proud moment. I'm an expert of fantasy football.
Yeah. That somebody should be like, doing some sort of a congressional investigation of all the things that they said they predicted that didn't come true.
True.
Okay. Forget Robert Saleh. I've got the receipts. Sorry. Please forgive me for to go on this rant.
No, please. I thank you.
Jenny, so it's the next day, and they like, okay, all right, everybody. I don't know if it's the next day. I might have been wrong on that. But they say like, okay, everybody, all right, spot check. Whose water bottles are full? Raise your hands. Like I took a sip. I'm like, well, then is it full? Is it full? Raise your hand.
Yeah. So this was confusing to me because I was like, are they mad that they're because so the issue was Dr. Drew was nauseous, he's dehydrated, so he's being seen by the medics. It's clear that he is suffering from dehydration, so they take this as like this is a teachable moment, and they gather them, and it's like they were told to keep their water bottles full, so they're asking them, is your water bottle full or not? And I was confused about what was good or what was bad, because it was like they want them to have their water bottles full, but they
Right.
also want them to be drinking water so that they don't get dehydrated.
That's right. Right.
So,
So
like,
you
what
have
do you
to,
want? Like,
yes.
the people whose water bottles are not full are probably it's probably because they've been hydrating.
Maybe it's
And
like the start of the start of the day, and they're supposed to show up with a full water bottle. I
I
don't know
guess,
exactly.
but like this was still, I'm pretty sure, the first day. Like they have no idea what's going on. There's no schedule. Like, what if they just called them in at the there's always such urgency when they're being called on too. Like it's always just like, you gotta get in here now. It's like, oh my god, okay. Like they're yelling at people while they're trying to poop, probably. So I can imagine that like Danny Amendola, like he just didn't have time to refill his bottle and he just had a big swig. Come on.
Yeah. And so this was a little confusing to me. So they said, okay, well, now you have bad water etiquette. Okay. I didn't even know there was water etiquette. All right.
There is.
So if your water bottle is not full, walk over and pour it on the person's head in front of you.
But this was the thing that was unclear to me, Rob, is that like I don't even necessarily think that it was that organized. I don't think it was like if your water bottle is not full, you have to pour it on somebody else. It was like they just had them in 2 rows and then like they just one row poured water on like the other person. It was like so strange. I don't understand what the lesson was. I don't understand what they were supposed to take away from this. It was like it seemed to me it's like everyone is going to like be punished. It's like when someone breaks like a food rule on like Big Brother and like the whole house now is on slop or something like that. Like that's what it was giving to me. It was like a couple people didn't have full water bottles and now like people that had like full water bottles were getting like water dumped on their head for some reason. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was really wild. I was like, what is going on here? Why is this happening?
So then after that, then they made them like run around and do
Run
a bunch of stuff. run around some more, you failures.
Like 3 things they really love is them getting wet by either dumping water on them or asking them to jump into water, run around, and then like get dirty, like rub sand on yourself or like get down on the ground and get dirty. Like those are 3 key parts of this training I've started to realize.
Back to Dr. Drew. He's done.
Dr. Dunn is what I put in my notes.
He's done.
Dr. Dunn, he's done. He's gone. Bye-bye. And like again, it's like it
Doesn't
happens
even
very
get to
quickly.
say goodbye to anybody. Like,
no, they don't show them. Like, do you remember how long and drawn out some of the goodbyes were on Beyond the Edge when someone was
I'm
going to
never
ring
gonna
the bell?
forget you. We're gonna get together. You're my best friend.
You're the best person I've ever met in my entire life. And it's like you knew someone was going to ring the bell for like days before it happened. Like there was so much lead up. They really made a whole meal of it. Like on this show, you forget that someone left because they barely told you. It's so wild.
Yeah, Dr. Drew is gone, and they tell us like 2 celebrities are gone, but the 2 more will be gone before the end of the hour.
And then at that point, I'm like, will somebody die? Because they've made this that like we haven't mentioned this, but like there is a narrator.
Yes.
Through this whole thing that it makes it feel like a National Geographic like documentary or something like that. Like this intense.
Dr. Drew lays on the gurney, waiting for death.
The recruits are being exposed to the elements. Like it's so intense. I truly felt like I was watching a documentary through
It is very much documentary style.
Yeah, it definitely is. Yeah.
For sure. Okay. All right. So finally we get to day 2. Jamie Lynn Spears, she had a bad night. She's really missing her kids. It's been a day.
And I will say, like, Mike Piazza had like a very good point when he's like, because everyone's trying to talk her into staying, of course. And like Mike Piazza is like, you're gonna get home, and in like a day, you're gonna be like, okay, like life's back to normal. Like, I should have just stayed longer. Like, I don't miss my kids anymore.
Right.
Which I think is true. Like, it's only 10
good
days.
Advice.
Like, I think it's a little different when you go on like Big Brother or Survivor where you're like away for like a couple months sometimes or like over a month. Like this is 10 days. Like I think that missing your kids is probably like the least of the reasons why you would want to leave. I think that it's like, it's the nice thing to say. It's like, oh, I want to go because I miss my kids. Like, I think it's like you want to go because you're being abused. Like you
Mhm.
go because you want a warm bed and like to like poop in privacy. Like, let's be real here.
So, Jenny, they say this staff says to everybody, all right, line up from who is the strongest to the weakest.
Yes.
See everybody
And they have
line
to
up.
like work it out amongst themselves. So it's like you're kind of placing yourself where you think you go, but like, you know, what if the person next to you like thinks that they're stronger than you? So it's like it's like an interesting experiment where they have to
Mhm.
organize themselves.
Right. And so they get organized from the strongest to the weakest. And then Dwight Howard is number one. And
Mhm.
then at the back of the line is Beverly Mitchell.
Yes, Beverly
And
Mitchell.
so from this point on, Dwight Howard is in the crosshairs.
Yes. And I think that, you know, you had to know that you're asking for it. Like, you got to understand the point of this exercise. They want, and they say it, they explain it. They're like, no one is ever where they think they should be. Like, you know, this shows the people that are like overconfident and the people that like shouldn't, like, that doubt themselves and are like holding back their true potential. So like the person that put themselves as the strongest was always going to get in shit, because it's like,
Yeah.
oh, you think you're the big dog? Like, well, you
Oh.
got another thing coming.
Mhm. All right. So they bring them out to go to the next activity where they have to.
Activity is very, very,
What would you call
very
this? The
kind.
test? The test?
I guess activity sounds like we're gonna go finger painting
Yeah.
instead of like we're gonna like put you through intense trauma and
Trauma.
possibly
Okay.
like a death.
Walk across the rope. Okay. This is what you have to do. Sidestep across the rope. Special
A
forces.
300 feet like wide canyon.
Mhm.
There's a rope that is across like a canyon that they
Mhm.
have to walk across.
Yeah.
Like they're
Okay.
tethered to it. There's like a
Yeah, they could if they fall,
not like
they're not gonna die. They will fail.
because they would fail.
Yeah. Okay. And Dwight Howard, he's trying to do this. And ultimately, for Dwight Howard, who is what, like 6'10,
I
this
feel
is a
like
challenge.
this would be so much harder if you're tall. Like, I can't believe that they like, you know, made him like out to be a failure. It's like, wouldn't you think that being really, really tall, especially like if you're tall and like lanky or anything like that, like I think that if you have like you're more likely to wobble, I would think, because like balance is such a big part of it. I
Mhm.
would so I
Well,
feel like something like this, like if you're small and like compact, that you might have like a closer center of gravity. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. Again, I don't claim to be an expert of anything.
yes, that's why you can't get mad at Jenny.
Yeah,
But they really
don't blame
got
me.
on Dwight Howard's case when he couldn't do this.
Fail! Catastrophic fail. A dope on a rope when you could have been a king with a swing.
I don't think they needed to call him a dope on a rope.
That was the one. I feel like we could have a game, Rob, every episode where like we could come with phrases that were said or like insults that were said on this show, and like you have to figure out which one was actually said on the show and like what is made up, because I can't believe that they said dope on a rope when you could have been a king on the string. Like he was really proud of that.
Yeah, he was really proud of it. I mean, you're a dope on a rope. It was a little extra for Dwight Howard, I thought.
Yeah, I think that they just really wanted an opportunity. Like he didn't even do that terribly. He was definitely scared because that is a terrifying thing to do, I think.
Mhm.
And I think that they were just looking for any opportunity to knock him down a peg, because they
Oh.
decided this guy thinks that he is hot-ish and we are going to show him he is not. So
Yeah.
like it didn't matter how he did. They were going to tell him he was a catastrophic fail.
When they get like a bug up their ass about somebody, staff like does not miss.
No. They will get what they want from it. Like they are going to make sure of it. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We haven't talked about Tyler Florence. Tyler, he put himself number 3 from strongest to weakest. I think he was somebody else that the edit really was trying to bury because they put this quote in the show.
With special forces, they've got a mission, and that's to protect national interests.
Pick up the pace.
And in restaurants, we've got a mission, provide hospitality at a world-class level.
Pick up the pace.
So I think there's a kindred spirit between
Yeah.
the restaurant world and the SES, that's for sure.
I mean, it's basically the same thing.
Like, this is the worst like tribal council analogy I've ever heard. And I've heard some really bad ones.
Yeah. How's
Really?
working in the restaurant industry like being in the special forces?
Yeah. Well,
you know.
sometimes you got a short order. It's really hot in the kitchen.
Mhm.
And it's also really hot here in the desert.
You know, a lot of times you come out of the kitchen and you have to tell the customers what the special is.
And here you are the special, the
Mhm.
special forces. So it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Of
Okay.
course.
So it was Tyler's turn, and he's like trying to like talk to Remy, and he's like, yeah, you know, I'm having some reservations about this, and I think he's expecting like Remy to be like a sympathetic ear.
Which I don't know why. What up until this point has led you to believe that these people are going to be sympathetic?
He says that, you know, today it's my wife's birthday, and I promised my wife that I wasn't going to do anything that was going to be dangerous. And they were
Which
just like, leave.
like he really, you know, got us with like on my daughter's birthday, really, you're going to
Mhm.
make me like walk across the canyon, like really
Mhm.
on my wife's birthday. I made a promise. I don't understand, sir, why you made a promise to not do something dangerous
Mhm.
on one of the 10 days that you agreed to go do this.
Yes, on your wife's birthday. You missed
On your
it.
wife's birthday. Like
Yeah.
you knew what you were going to do, but
Yeah.
maybe you didn't. I don't know. But this is the sticking point. This guy, like, when they're talking about how they arranged himself, he's like, yeah, I'm really tough. Like, I think I can withstand anything. Like
Mhm.
he really they
VW.
made him look like he felt like he was hot shit. And like they even had a scene with the staff discussing like he's got a lot of swagger, but he doesn't have a lot like to him or something like. So they did not like this man.
They hated him.
They hated this guy, and the reason he leaves is he promised his wife he wouldn't do something dangerous on her birthday.
Yeah.
What a
I
weird
don't know
reason.
if he gave any interviews today. I think he was hoping that people did not watch Special Forces.
Yeah, he's like, really? Does this have a streaming service this can go straight to? I really hope so.
Yeah. I see an article where fans criticized Tyler Florence and said his arrogance is deafening.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
What is the story about this guy? Because like I wasn't sure if he is actually like a bad person or if they just didn't like that he
I don't think it'll be
couldn't
about
hack
him
it.
being a bad person. I think he got a very bad edit on the show.
Mhm. What is Tyler Florence
Not ready to
known
call him a
for?
bad person. I don't know. I don't even know what he makes. What kind of chef he is. Just
Yeah. Okay. Cooking style is Italian, American,
like that.
Tex-Mex, and contemporary.
Okay.
See, I always like going to somebody's Wikipedia page and like looking to see if there's like a heading for like controversy or like, you know, like legal troubles or something.
No,
like that's like
fine. He's fine.
personal life. Nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Married to his wife, Tolan Clark. Happy
He did
birthday.
the great food truck race.
Okay.
So
I
okay.
I actually knew of him going into this show. So that's one of the most shocking parts. But I just didn't know if he was like a bad person or not. Because I don't know. I just
Yeah.
like I can't trust anything anymore.
So after everybody's going on the rope, we're seeing like a montage of a bunch of people that are falling. I think it was only Danny Amendola and one of the Olympic women who did it. Is that correct?
I
We don't
guess.
know. It was
I
a
don't know. They
montage. It
really
was a
yada
montage.
that.
Yada
There was a
yada.
lot of talk about lactic acid. Like,
Yes. Gross. So Dwight Howard was like laying down, and then one of the staff catches him. It's like, "Are you laying down?"
and it's like, yeah, I don't know. Like they're just finding anything to like get on this man.
They're
about
getting
at
on
this
Dwight
point.
Howard. So
Yeah.
it's like, all right, bring him in for questioning.
Yeah.
That's it. Bring
That's
in
it.
Dwight Howard. Arrest. Seize him.
Yeah. Put a bag on his head. Get him
Yeah.
in here
And-
for like 5 whole seconds wearing this bag while we lead him in. And he doesn't fit. Like they lead him into the interrogation room and he's too tall for the opening in the door. It's so comical.
So, Jenny, this might have been my favorite part of the episode because they sit Dwight Howard down and they say to Dwight Howard about, "Do you have an attitude?" He's like, "I don't think so. I think people like me." And then they say, "Well, how do you explain this?" And they show him a computer that has a web page that says why people don't like Dwight Howard.
That was so bizarre. They're like, yeah, well, explain why there's so many headlines about why you're such a bad person.
Yeah.
What do you do?
I could not imagine where, you sit down. It's like Rob, are you a good podcast? I mean, I don't know. I guess so. Like, well, what about this Reddit thread that says you're overrated?
What about this thread that discuss how much you say the word
What about
How do you feel about
what
that?
about this tweet?
this egg profile really doesn't like you. Explain that.
Yeah. So
I mean, and then what do you do in that situation? Like,
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. I guess you got the receipts, staff.
They got the receipts. Okay. One more task in the 2-hour special forces. Here comes Red Man.
Listen, I'm more of a method man girl, but I appreciated a cameo by Red Man.
Is Red Man real?
I think it was one of the guys. I think it was like Rudy.
Yeah, no, certainly it was. But do you really have to go fight Red Man?
I don't know. Rob, this was the most confusing part of the episode for me by far. And that is saying a lot because this is the most confusing 2 hours of my life. It's a man with like red padding, and they're like, they just say, "Oh, you have to fight the Red Man." Like this is a known thing. If somebody knows anything about what this training is
They probably
actually
can't
like
tell
when
us.
it's not on Fox with celebrities, can you let us know if the Red Man is a thing and this is like a common practice, or was this something that they just made up for the purpose of this show? Because it was so bizarre.
So yeah, you have to fight Red Man, but then also then when they say stop fighting Red Man, you have to be able to stop. So you have to have aggression, and then also, but I guess you have to get like so crazed to beat up Red Man that you can't stop yourself. It must be hard.
This was the most toxic part of this whole thing. Because like the whole thing is very toxic. They're like, the only way to like, work on yourself and like, fight your demons and believe in yourself is to go through physical and mental abuse. And at this point, they are saying, and this is a direct quote, Rob, from one of staff.
Yes.
The way we get through conflict is aggression. So these people are literally saying, okay, if there's conflict, the way you get through it is by aggression.
But also being able to stop the aggression.
Okay, but like, is that really like is that the best?
Look, Jenny, we are just bystanders, okay? These guys have done this many times before. I think they know what they're talking about, okay?
Listen, I will not question these men because
Red
I am
man.
terrified of them. But
Whatever you say, guys. Do not come
like,
put the black bag on my head.
please,
Do not come
please
show
do
me a
not.
website of why my podcast
I'm not good in the
stink.
dark.
Yes.
I get claustrophobic easily. Please don't. But this is something that they literally said to Mel B, to Scary Spice. The whole point of this is to take out anger and aggression on someone who is asking for it. It's like,
Yes.
this.
Well,
This
Mel B
is
went
wild.
off. This was Mel B's best moment.
Yeah, but it's also kind of sad because she's like, oh, I was like in an abusive relationship, and it's like, okay, well now you're gonna go fight someone. It's like, I don't know if is this tried and true method of like working through trauma? Is like,
Mhm.
if you've been the subject of abuse, they like you just go beat up a guy in red padding. I don't know. I just like think that maybe there's another way, but I don't know. Like, she did good
Mhm.
though. They were very pleased with how she did. She had to go out there and
Yeah.
you're punching a guy, the red man.
Punch Red Man.
But
Okay.
you have to stop.
And then stop. She was good at that. Some people
Mhm.
weren't. Like Scaramucci seemed like he couldn't stop.
Which is wild to me because like what I know of him is that like, he just doesn't last
he's
very
good
long.
at stopping. Yes.
Yeah.
I think Mel B had a good experience. I wouldn't be surprised if Mel B makes it to the end because she gave like some interviews about this. The Annie Denhart has an article today on realityblurred.com about 7 incredible ways Mel B describes Special Forces, the world's toughest test. She says that the cast of Special Forces actually got closer than the Spice Girls.
Wow. That is, I mean, I feel like there was maybe a little drama with Spice Girls at certain points.
Yeah, so maybe the
probably.
Spice Girls weren't actually that close.
Like maybe that's
in
more of
hindsight.
like a testimony to like the weakness of Spice Girls. Actually, I shouldn't say that. I don't
Yeah,
know.
so
I'm
maybe
not
it's a low
gonna
bar.
create a narrative here, but that's saying something. I mean, here's the thing: is these people are trauma bonded. Like,
Yeah.
they're
Well, I think
being
that's the
abused in
idea.
groups.
That's the idea.
Yeah, I guess
That's the goal.
Like, just I don't know, go to summer camp together. Like, I don't know. It seems
Mhm.
like an unnecessary step to like grow a bond with people.
Yep. People got a little messed up. I mean, did Redman fight back?
I don't believe so. I think Redman just kind of like moves so that like they have a moving target. It was really funny. Like Jamie Lynn comes out and she's like, "What do I do? Hit him?" It's like,
Yeah, you gotta
Jamie
fight
Lynn.
Redman.
He
Okay.
was supposed to fight the Redman.
Montel Jordan, he ends up with a potentially a broken finger. This is not how we do it.
I have a theory that he loses power without his hat.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I think the hat gives him power. And you know, clearly he could not function without it. So it was not how you do it. I think that he got a positive edit though, because there was like a point where they were talking about all the recruits and like they called him like respectful. And like they didn't say a single nice thing about anyone else. So
yeah,
I don't know.
He also tweeted today, Montel Jordan, some tweets about with his hand in a cast. So I feel like it is not looking good for Montel Jordan.
Yeah. And again, another exit that I felt like got sort of yada yada. Like, I don't know, the way that they deal with like people like not staying is so bizarre. It's just like before you know it, they're gone.
Yeah.
And maybe that's like part of the deal. It's like you can't get too attached because at any point someone could be ripped away from you. I'm like, oh, it's so dark.
Yeah, they don't care.
But like you're supposed to like the whole point of this is like when we like finish this, I want to feel like you like I can count on you and you like you'll take care of me, but also don't care if any of these people leave.
Here's
Oh,
what Montel
dang.
Jordan had to say. Thank you all for watching the 2-hour series premiere of Special Forces. I can finally say that I was medically withdrawn from the selection process after tearing main ligaments in my thumb on my dominant hand. It was extremely painful, and I'm still recovering. So,
Still recovering? Like, when was this? I feel like we heard about this show like months ago.
Mm-hmm.
How long does it take for a thumb to heal? Oh my God.
Long time. So, well, look, this was no joke.
Here's the thing. You know, people go on Survivor and there's always people that are like, oh yeah, but like behind the scenes they're feeding you, right? Like this is fake. No. I fully believe that these people went through hell because you can see it in their face. They look tattered. They look like they are in rough shape. I believe that this was the world's toughest test.
This is the world's toughest test as advertised.
Yeah, like that is not false advertising whatsoever. Like they did not sugarcoat that.
Okay. They end up, there's a whole thing like with Beverly Mitchell about how she like was at the back of the pack earlier and like, do you think you were the worst? She's like, no, I think I'm like second to the worst or third. Like, but then this was your moment. And so when they like reorganize, she cuts Scaramucci in the line.
Yeah, I think she put herself at like third instead. I think it was like Scaramucci and then like Hannah Brown and then Beverly Mitchell.
Hannah Brown
like,
did that, a little purple.
Like, I feel like her role is like the cheerleader for other people. Cause like I feel like they showed her a lot being like, this is your journey, like this is your story, like you can do it. And I think that that's just like what she's doing here.
Yeah.
Which is nice. That's great. Good for her.
Do you think that we're going to have a lot of people leaving throughout the course of the show? Or do you think that like we sort of like lost like the people who couldn't hack it and then the rest of the group is going to stick around?
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where it's like the first 24 or 48 hours are like the worst because it's like your body is maybe going into shock if like you didn't prepare properly for it, or like, if you're not like your body is like adjusting to like new elements or like, a different amount of food or water or whatever. So I think that like the first day is truly like the big cut where you can hack it or you can't. And I think that it probably gets a little not easier. I don't think any of the stuff they do gets easier, but it's like if you've gotten through the first little bit, you get a sense of like what you're in for. And I think that if you've gotten through that, you're like, okay, I know what I'm getting myself into at this point, so I can keep going. I have to assume that like more people will go. Because like what a weird show if like just the premiere 4 people leave and then the rest of the show is like and they just keep going. There's no prize. We're just seeing people test themselves.
It'll get awkward if it gets down to like 2 people.
Yeah, I don't know. What do they do? Like
because they're not competing.
That's the other thing is like we're saying it's a competition show, but it's like they're not competing.
They're competing against themselves.
Yeah, that is the competition.
And staff.
Yeah, and staff.
Jenny, I have some questions here from the listeners of the podcast. We started a feedback form. Yeah, we got a lot of questions.
So many questions.
RHAP.com/special forces if you want to send in questions about the show. Got a question from Angie who writes, what was the food they were eating that they referred to as dog food?
Yes. That was like near the end where like it was like the end of the second day and they're eating and it just looked like a trough of like it kind of looked like stuffing.
Okay, well, so we
Which
like
I
stuffing.
love stuffing.
Where's the can of gravy?
Yes, give me like if that was the food, if it was just like even if it was like bad stuffing, like dry stovetop stuffing, but they had a can of gravy to like add moisture to it, I'd be good. And if that's dog food, then I'm a dog, baby.
So Mel B said in the clip from, I think this was on the winter press tour, she says, I didn't even know what chow time was. I'm like, what does that mean? Chow is we all have to go into a room and Jamie or whoever is the team leader for that day serves us all. You get one slop and it's proper army slop and it tastes amazing because you haven't eaten for hours.
Okay. So what's the story? It's amazing or it's bad? Because we see I can't remember who it was. I think it was Dwight and somebody else like joking that like this was the thing that was going to make them quit was the food.
Mhm.
So like they made it sound like it was really bad, but I guess after 24 or 48 hours of being literally tortured physically, mentally, emotionally, anything tastes good.
Mhm.
So I don't know.
Yeah, maybe
But
they
yeah,
eat
it
too
just
much in the Big Brother house.
yeah. Well, here's the thing is, did the Mooch ever have did they no, I don't think they did slop
They
on
don't do
Celebrity
slop
Big
on
Brother.
Celebrity.
Oh,
Yeah.
see, soft
Okay.
as hell.
Soft as pillows. Okay. So going back to the Mooch, Dan B, not Mel B, says,
Okay.
what was your favorite insult of the episode? I was most surprised and laughed the most when the Mooch was called a Muppet after he failed to walk across the wire.
I
He
did
does have
not.
Muppet vibes.
He does have Muppet energy, so that is actually like a really good insult. I did not catch the Muppet insult. That is incredible. I when I rewatched the episode, my plan was to make it a drinking game where I was either gonna drink every time they said buffoon, because like the one guy really likes the word buffoon, and I think we should
Mhm.
bring buffoon back. Like
It's fun.
it's fun.
I like buffoon.
Like it's an insult that like doesn't feel like too cruel, but it's like it's still very cutting, you know?
Mhm.
I think that at one point they called Jamie Lynn a coconut. What does that mean? like, like
I don't know.
that's what I'm saying is like you could literally it's like Mad Libs. Like you could make up things that they say to insult these people because it's hard to believe that some of the things that come out of these people's mouths. It's really funny. I can't. Yeah. So Mooch is a Muppet. Perfect.
Yeah. Okay. Here's a question from Elizabeth. Will the world's toughest test be podcasting about this show?
I mean, for me, the world's toughest test was like just
Podcasting about
being
Beyond the Edge?
well. Here's the thing. So I had a friend watch the episode last night. Shout out to Natalie Franklin, who almost bailed me out tonight when I almost needed to podcast from her apartment because I've had no internet for 4 days. That was my world's toughest test. She said, "This is so bad," and I hadn't started watching it yet. And I asked her, "Did you watch Beyond the Edge?" And she said, "No." And I said, "I'm not worried."
Yeah. So
I've
Beyond
done
the
it.
Edge was boring.
Yes.
And you cannot say that Special Forces World's Toughest Test is boring.
No. Like I think it and again, it was like I think when we cut it down to 1 hour and there's like a lot of like building the narrative for some of these stories. So I think it was like there were parts of the episode that were like maybe a little bit slower, but
Mhm.
like there was definitely things happening.
Yeah. Things
And
I've never seen on television before.
absolutely. So I don't think that like it's different from Beyond the Edge in that like I'm more shocked. You know what I mean? Like I'm watching the show and being like, what? Whereas like with Beyond the Edge, I was like, I mean, if you listen to those podcasts, we took like 20 minutes for me to describe a challenge.
Mhm. Yeah. And they were
I
all
don't
the
think that's
same.
gonna
Yeah.
happen here, you know?
Yes. Okay. Jeremy says, can we all pour a canteen out for the fact that Dr. Drew doesn't even know how to stay hydrated?
Hashtag not my doctor.
Hmm. Yeah. Doesn't know to drink water. Okay.
Yeah.
And then Lizzie from the shoebox asks, who would have done the best on Special Forces? Martin the Butler, Mauro Ranallo, Kevin Jonas, Frankie Jonas, Jerry O'Connell, or Rebecca O'Connell?
Oh wow. I mean, I feel like Jerry O'Connell just like has the best attitude
Yes.
of like anyone I've ever encountered in my entire life. So like I just can't imagine him like giving up. You know what I mean?
He wouldn't let everybody down like that.
Yeah, like he's a team player, and
Yeah.
I think that he would like become obsessed with like every single person that was also there with him.
Yeah.
And so I could see him like suffering, but like having fun with it, you know?
Yep. I think Rebecca O'Connell kind of a badass also.
Oh yeah, I mean, like if we are arranging like Jerry O'Connell and like Rebecca Romaine O'Connell in the weakest to strongest, no offense, Jerry, but like we're putting Rebecca before you.
Yeah,
Like she's stronger than you. Like she's a
Mystique.
badass.
Yeah. Martin the Butler, too much of a fancy man to do well. He would have
he's wearing gloves at all times. Like do you think he's gonna rub sand on himself?
Yeah. And maybe Morrow, maybe back in the day, might have been
He's a scrappy guy.
Scrappy guy.
He's the DJ.
Yeah. And I'm not sure about the Jonas Bros.
Yeah. I mean, you would never see the Jonas Bros on this particular show because I know that some of these people have a lot of money, but like you will never see the Jonas Bros doing this. They are fine.
Yeah.
They would not do this.
Okay. All right. Jenny, anything else about Special Forces World's Toughest Test, the 2-hour premiere? Sam Moore said it did well in the ratings.
What a shock. Like
I don't think we've ever covered a show that's done well in the ratings.
I don't think that's like not our thing. Like,
critically acclaimed, yes.
Yeah. My biggest question going for, I mean, I just truly hope that they don't go soft on like keep
I
this
don't think we have to worry
energy.
about this.
Cause it's like I just don't want them to, let up the pressure because it's supposed to be the world's toughest test. And I don't want it to be like, okay, we weeded out the weak people in the first 24 or 48 hours. And now it's just going to be like competitions. I did see in the preview that like they told Mel B that they didn't care if she took the water up her butt or something like that. Like
what?
So I think that there was like some weird. She's like, how do I take the water? And he's like, I don't care if you take it up your butt.
Yeah.
So I think that it's gonna like keep that energy, but like it's hopeful because like if they go soft and too inspirational.
I don't think we have to worry about
not to say that I'm enjoying pain, but I'm like, it's a little bit more entertaining than like sitting around a campfire and like talking about what good people they all are.
Yeah, we'll see. Fox is going to re-air this, I think, over the weekend. So we'll see if more people check it out. And then after another week of football promotion, let's see if more people want to check out these celebrities being abused on Special Forces World's Toughest Test. We'll be back again next week to talk about it. And if you have questions, you can send them in robhasawebsite.com/special forces. Okay. All right. Jenny, what's coming up for you?
This is it. Like this, I mean, my world's toughest test is putting all of myself into this particular show. And it was a dice roll. I was like, I don't know what this is gonna be. I have full faith in you and I, Rob, and that we can get together and find a way to talk about anything.
Sure.
But I was still worried. And it was confusing. But I'm looking forward to where we go from here. And that's all I'm really up to right now. You can follow me on social media at Jenny Autumn and looking forward to next week.
Well, we are the world's top experts on Special Forces, the world's toughest test. And so we will be here once again to talk about everything that's going on. If you see Special Forces news happening, any sort of unhinged Twitter activity, please let us know. I am at Rob Cesternino. Jenny is at Jenny Autumn. Thank you so much for joining us to hear us talk about Special Forces, the world's toughest test. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. Bye.